What up, folks? Once again, it's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Wanted to talk to you about something real quick. As you know, on this channel, we talk about all things politics and current events, and this is one that seems to be in the news. It's still up in the air whether this is actually true or not, but the slap a teacher challenge. What would you do if you were a teacher or working around children and some little kid walked up and smacked the fuck out of you? Let's get into it. Before we do, always as usual, feel free to hit that subscribe button so you hear about these videos. Like what I'm dropping, hit the like button. Don't like what I'm dropping, hit the dislike button. But leave a comment and let me know why. Slap a teacher challenge. Apparently this is something that's going around on TikTok. That's what the rumors state. This follows another challenge called the Devious Licks. Sorry about that. Devious Licks was something that involved children committing acts of theft online. So basically they're taking videos of them committing acts of theft at school, particularly. Devious Licks. That one has been validated. That actually was happening. And there were lots of people posting pictures of them committing acts of theft online. This one is slap a teacher challenge. So literally walking up and smacking the shit out of your teacher. Now, everything we can think of is wrong with this, starting out with it is an actual crime. You're committing an act of assault and you could be turned over to juvenile authorities for doing it. But it just goes to show the shit that kids do nowadays that, I mean, I grew up in, as a child of the 80s, particularly in school, and yeah, actually walking up and assaulting a teacher for no reason at all was just something we never thought, never even entered our mind for a number of reasons. First of all, when we came up, discipline was violent. It was violent. I mean, your parents would actually whip you. They would actually, I've been hit with spoons and lawnmower cords and fucking extension cords. I mean, you got some parents that'll just outright punch you. I'll give you a really funny story. I must have been probably 12 or 13. One of the kids on the block that I used to play with got in trouble. And his parent had him go to the house. Now I'm walking past his house and I can hear him in there getting his ass whooped. Now he's probably 10 or 11. So you can hear it sounds violent by today's standards. You can hear that belt hitting him and he's screaming and shit. All of a sudden the side door to his house flew open and he ran out, running from his parents. He got a couple steps of his leg out the door and his body was just starting to come out the door. I swear to God, I saw a hand reach out of the door and pull his ass back in. I kept walking. That's what we did back in the day. You didn't pick up and call an 800 number. You didn't snitch. This is what happened. And not only, I'll take it even a step further than that. If you did something wrong and your parents weren't around, virtually any adult could discipline you. I mean, your aunts, your uncles, your fucking neighbors. I mean, anybody. I mean, it was basically open season on bad kids. And as a result, a lot of children did not disrespect adults because the adults weren't playing. They wasn't taking that shit. Nowadays, you can't touch a kid. A kid walk up and smack the shit out of the teacher, and the teacher's like, well, I didn't know what to do. I mean, you can't even really get away with swearing at a kid without it being considered as abuse or, putting a kid through mental anguish or some shit like that. You lose your whole career over hitting a kid back. That didn't used to happen when we were coming up. I've been hit, particularly I can think of my second grade teacher, Miss Veasley, and my fifth grade teacher, Miss Butler. They would take a 12-inch ruler, two of them, and tape them together with masking tape. Hold that damn thing out there. You get, and I'm talking about, you were getting your ass kicked for little shit like talking, playing with toys in class. You'd bring a Transformer or you bring a G.I. Joe doll to class and you ain't paying attention. Look, shit, you ain't throwing spitballs. You're not getting in fights. You just not following the rules and you getting your ass kicked. That's what it was like coming up in the early 80s, late 70s for me as a child. And then obviously children who went to Catholic schools can tell you about how these little innocent looking nuns used to fuck them up. That's what it used to be like. Skip to 2021 and we're talking about the kids actually attacking the teachers. That just didn't happen. I mean, so obviously schools have changed significantly since my day. And there's a lot of people from my era that think that maybe the schools and maybe the parents need to take things back to the way they used to when, you know, a child feared their parents. They feared, you know, being on the disciplinary end of an adult. I'll give you another really funny story. I have a, cousin, may she rest in peace, but I have an aunt that was known for some serious corporal punishment, a female, because, you know, men and women, but even some women were known for kicking ass. This is a female sitting around the dinner table, and she said something, and the minute she said it as a child, she immediately realized that this is probably something that was not in her best interest to have said. Smart talking, back talking, whatever you want to say. Her mom, sitting at the dinner table, reached to grab the mashed potatoes, and that kid went like that. Everybody saw that. So that let everybody know this kid is used to getting her ass whooped. Mom is reaching for the mashed potatoes, and the kid going like that. So I'm just trying to tell you, back in the day, children did not play games with their parents like they do today. Kids nowadays, I'm running away, or you ain't doing this, or no. I mean, I've had my daughter a couple of times tell me no. When I came up, it was like being in the military. I mean, my dad was a Marine, U.S. Marine, but that's the way it was handled. You said yes, sir, and no, sir, to adults, at least in front of my dad. Otherwise, you'd be punished for it. And in addition to that, everything that you were told to do by an adult, just like you would have been told in the Marines to do by a superior, the answer is yes. You know, when you get orders in the military, they don't say, well, could we get you to go to Iraq, or could we get you? No, your paperwork says you will, with W-I-L-L, you will report to this airport, you'll get on this plane, and you're going to fucking Afghanistan. It's not an option. You don't get to say no. And that's what is happening now, is that children don't get that strong level of discipline. Too many things are presented to children where they have an option, or at least they think they have an option, and they're telling kids no, telling parents no. No, I'm not doing my homework tonight, or no, I'm not going to, I'm not going to clean my room right now. I'll do it later. That's so later. I mean, I couldn't even fix my attitude to even begin thinking of telling my dad that something he asked me to do was optional. Like, I don't want to do this right now. I mean, it just instantly resulted in a physical court-martial of sorts. You're going to get hurt right then and right. It was strong enough to the point where I didn't get a lot of physical violence from my dad, because I made sure I followed orders. That way it just did not get to that. You get to the point where you could just get the look, and I know already I'm at the edge of an ass whooping. So I'm not gonna, continue down that road. Children these days don't have that. They're not getting the look. They have no fear of any type of violence happening like that. I'm not promoting violence against children, but I'm just simply saying that lack of discipline is leading to stuff like the slap a teacher challenge. What do you think? And I guess the other question I would ask, if you were teaching, let's say you're teaching children that are 10, 11 years old, 12 years old. I'm going to stop at 12, because after that age, some of them kids start to be bigger than you might be. So, 12 years old, teacher walks in the classroom, and a couple of the friends are standing over in the corner with their phones aimed at you, and you get smacked by a student. What do? You're going to cower and continue teaching the class with a red-ass face while all the other students are snickering and laughing and potentially plotting to do it again from a different student? What are you going to do? I mean, you can send that student to the principal's office, but the fact of the matter is, You didn't do anything to him yourself in response. And nowadays, getting suspended from school is almost just like in the hood where they say, I went to jail for, it's like a badge of honor. So getting it, when I came up, getting suspended was a bad thing. You didn't want to get suspended. Getting suspended it was awful. It just wasn't something you want. Nowadays, the kids don't care about getting suspended. Also, too, the schools are a lot less demanding. When I say demanding out of a child academically, they'll just pass the kid along. So you got children who have missed half the school year that did not fail that class. That's inexcusable. But back in our day, yeah, if you missed a certain amount of days in school or your attendance, yeah, they're going to fail you. People got held back all the time. That doesn't happen as much anymore. You don't want to shame the kid. They don't got rid of the A through F grading scale. And now it's, these other words like proficient and all of that, and give them numbers because you don't want to necessarily, when I came up, the teacher would put all your, after you done a test, would put the pages on each kid's desk. If you failed, there was a big ass red F on your page that the kid sitting next to you could see. Nobody cared about you being shamed. That was not a concern. The concern was you learning to do your lessons properly and passing the class. Now all of a sudden, we don't want to hurt the kids' feelings and all of that. That's a whole different story in regards to cancel culture and all that. We can talk about that, and there's something that snowflakes and all these other terms that the right wing uses. But this is an area where it may have some legitimacy. So I'm just going to end this video. This is something I wanted to make because I've heard of this slap a teacher challenge. I'm going to go with it being rumored because TikTok is saying they don't show any evidence of it happening yet. There is evidence that it happened in South Carolina where a teacher was hit. The Attorney General in Connecticut spoke out against it, and it's been on the news circle. So it is in the news, and that's why we're discussing it. So I'm going to ask you again, what would you do if you were a teacher teaching an 11 or 10 or 11-year-old and they just walked up and smacked the shit out of you? Or what do you do if your child is involved in that? Like I said, in my day and age, if I smacked a teacher, I would be happy. I would be elated if all my dad did in response was smack me back. Because I know it's going to be worse than that. I don't even think I would probably end up with only 5 hits. It would probably be a dozen or so licks from a belt. I might learn to fly, as R. Kelly once sung about. It would not be good. So that is something that would have never been on my mind. Anyway, once again, it's your boy Chicago, the handsome liberal. Catch you on the next video.